The Leatherman Arc is finally available for everyone to purchase. Now, I've had mine for a few weeks. I did an unboxing video, which you can find the link to down below in the description, and I have some thoughts on it. I also have a lot of questions that came up from that video that I'd like to address. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Leatherman Arc, decide whether it's really something you should consider, and talk about upgrades, because in this video, I'm actually going to break my warranty and install something that I think should have always been the case. I went a little bit more in depth about this tool set in my unboxing video, but I'll run through it just one more time. We have the diamond file and crosscut. In fact, I really like the aggressiveness of this file. It's one of the best ones I've seen so far from Leatherman. We have the scissors, which are also pretty good, and I've been pretty happy with from the free series tools. And then the last three things we have are a new style reamer, a micro driver, and a redesigned flathead and prying tool. Look at how stout that thing actually is. Now, I really like the design in actually all three of these tools. And just a quick address of the reamer. Now, a lot of people did not like that it does not have the sewing eye, making it an awl. And the thing is, and I think Zach from Zach in the Wild said it best, how often have you ever used it? But more importantly, how often are you going to have the need to do it, but also not have it be synthetic material that will not take that type of stitching? And that is actually when they start looking at how many nylons and how many ripstops and all this other stuff in existence, you realize the sewing eye doesn't really get much use, and a lot of companies have gotten rid of it on their multi-tools, like Victorinox with their Spirit doesn't have the sewing eye either. This also has a wire stripper down here, although it is quite small in comparison to something like the Leatherman Wave. Now over here, we have a saw, which looks exactly the same and functions exactly the same as the free P4. We finally have the bit driver, which is awesome. Now this one stands a little bit further out from the bit holder itself, and it has a little bit more play than the Leatherman Wave, but not bad whatsoever. Can opener, and the big claim to fame here, the MagnaCut blade. Now of note, there is USA written both on the blade and on the plier, and this is important because not all of the Leatherman tools are actually able to put the USA stamp directly on the tools. The Leatherman Wave, the Leatherman Surge, these are assembled here in the US, and the majority of parts are actually also made here, but they don't meet that crucial criteria of 70% so that they can actually put that USA stamp. There was actually a big lawsuit back in the day that had them have to take it off. These, both the free series, P4, P2, and the Arc, all have the USA stamp. That means that they must have done something different to allow the bit kit to function and be maybe made here. Either way, this is something that's not to be understated. It definitely cost them something in order to get the USA printed on there. Okay, so we have a pocket clip, we have the bit driver, we've gone through everything except the blade. MagnaCut is the big reason why this thing is so damn expensive. It is a steel that is highly corrosion resistant. It has good toughness, good edge retention, and it's decently easy to sharpen. I have to say, I've done it, and it doesn't feel any worse than 154 cm, which is perfect. Even though it is a vanadium steel, it definitely does not feel as bad as some of the others that I've tried, like 20 CV. So it is a great steel. Maybe one of the best, in fact, in the entire industry. Now, this is DLC coated, and it's actually a PVD coating, which is very thin. It's not going to affect performance. It's mostly here for looks, though, because, well, MagnaCut is nearly impervious, not impervious, but very, 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 very corrosion resistant, like 9.5 out of 10 kind of thing. And we have the pliers. As we talked about, this does not have the adjustable pivot like we saw in the 40th anniversary edition, and it doesn't have the spring-loaded pliers. I'm less annoyed by the spring-loaded pliers because these are actually really smooth and excellent, but the lack of the adjustable pivot, that does hurt me a little bit because I just felt like that's such a great feature they could have included. With that, I'm going to move on to the next part of this video, which is addressing some questions, but also just answering the question, how does this compare? I have got a lot of questions about how does this compare to the Surge? How does this compare to the Wave? How does this compare to other brands? And so on. So I want to run through that. We have to keep in mind the $230 price tag, which is a very, very, very important stipulation. We cannot look outside of the fact that this is so expensive. Does it compare to the Wave? From a tool set perspective, it is actually better. Okay, it's hard to argue that it's not. The only thing you're gaining with the Leatherman Wave is the serrated blade, but I'm not sure if it's worth it when you have the Magna Cut blade. You just have so much edge retention. The other thing that might be a consideration between the two, which might lean in the Wave's favor, is the lack of the magnetic architecture. So the Wave, which I don't have on the table, I'm just going to briefly talk about, is approximately $100 if you go to eBay, and it's a really good abuser tool. It really, really is. And it's going to have most, except for the reamer all, everything that is here on the Arc. It's not going to have the edge retention, but you're not going to have to worry about the particulates getting caught in the magnet, and you're going to have a better tool that you can beat up on, I think, a little bit more. And I think that's where it's going to be a big difference. So no, I don't believe it will actually be competitive with the Leatherman Wave. Now, the Surge is an interesting thing. Initially, I said, no, there's no way the Arc could ever compete with the Surge. And I thought a little bit harder, and it's a closer match than I thought, but no. The Surge has certain things that make it superior to almost any tool on the market, one of them being that replaceable T-shank holder. That is one of the greatest features that exists. It also has a longer frame that gives you more leverage on the plier. It's very, very ergonomic. The tools in general are a little bit beefier. There's longer blades. So no, once again, even if they were the same price, the Surge would still beat it in the context of using it for heavy duty tasks. So I wouldn't say that's there. This is a very interesting tool because I think it actually caters to a market that really hasn't been catered to at all in the multi-tool world. And I think they're going to be very successful because of it, addressing it with the knife lovers of the world, which there are a lot of them. So I think that this will end up doing well. Now, the other thing is this comes with a sheath and it comes with a bit kit. In fact, it comes with this. Now, this is a full complete bit kit that I just unboxed right here, but it comes with 9 of the 10 bits in this kit. 9 of the 10. Now, until I opened this, I didn't realize which bit was actually missing. And it is the T6 T8 Torx. So it is 9 bits minus the most useful one in the entire kit. And the one that I have broken in every kit with the exception of this brand new one. The T6 T8 is a real problem because it is such a soft steel from these Leatherman bits, and I use it a lot. I use the T6 quite often, and it's usually the first thing that goes stripped. I usually get about 3 to 4 uses before it's basically toast. And that's unfortunate, right? And the bit kit is going to be, I think, the big sticking point for a lot of people and the place where you're either gonna get it or you're not. So I was worried when Leatherman released the Arc if they were gonna continue to have the second half of the bit kit out of stock. And thankfully, they are back. So this has just also been reintroduced, which is great because it was out of stock for months and they were very, very expensive on eBay. And the bit kits, the entire kit, is also available. And you can buy them on Amazon or on Leatherman.com, but this is important. Do not buy them after the fact on Leatherman because you're gonna have to pay that $7 shipping charge. It'll be even more expensive. I also recommend if you are getting the Arc, make sure you pick up a set of spare bits for the tool. These 3 cost $5. It is one of the easiest things to add. They should tell people about it when you buy them. I don't know why they don't, but these do wear out, and so having a spare will save you that extra $7 shipping charge, and I have not seen it available on Amazon or anywhere else. So that's something as well. Now I want to go back to that T6 T8 bit. Here's the problem. Let's say you have all these 9 plus this, right? You buy the second half. You know what you're still missing? That T6 T8 bit. That is a major problem. This missing from this is a really big issue for the sale of the Arc. I didn't even think about it, but what do you do here? Do you buy an entire bit kit instead of half? That feels really bad to spend $230 on a tool and have to buy an entire bit kit or entire half just to get the T6, T8 bit. That doesn't seem right, does it? That really doesn't feel right. And honestly, it wasn't until I set up for this video that I realized that that was the case. I didn't know what was missing until now. That's really, really unfortunate. They're available, but it feels a little bit, maybe they have a reason. I don't know if they have a reason or not, but the missing T6, T8 bit, I think is a huge problem that they might have to send these out. They might have to send this bit out to everyone, and honestly, they should. Okay, with that said, and now that we've talked about the Leatherman Arc, should you buy it? I think it's gonna come down to the bit kit system. For me, it's easy, right? I may have a YouTube channel, and obviously this is a deduction for me. I mean, I would have bought it probably anyway because I love them, but I don't know if everyone should go out and just go buy one. I'm not sure that it's going to be something that I think everyone's going to see the inherent value of over something like the Leatherman Wave. I don't know if it's there. And also the free P4 exists. Now, I don't know if it's in stock right now, but it's a pretty good tool, better than I gave it credit for when I first unboxed it. So there's all of these other tools that are serious considerations, and maybe not everyone's going to get the benefit of that Magna Cut blade. Now, at this point, we are going to move on to doing some modifications. I am going to immediately void the warranty on this thing, and that's because I have something that I've been wanting to install for a long time in the right tool, and I think that it's finally here. I think this is the time to do so. This is a full-sized 1/4 inch bit driver with a 4mm bit on the back. So how cool is that? So when I install this, which will replace both the can opener and the bit driver, I should be able to have the functionality that I'm really looking for. Now, before I do that, I did forget something that I'd like to discuss. People have asked about holsters that you can get for the Leatherman Arc, and actually zapwizard, who made these sheaths, they're 3D printed and they are kind of amazing. He already designed one specifically for the Leatherman Arc and the 40th anniversary edition. Now, these have storage for bits on the back. They have places for bits on the side. They have a place for bit extenders. I will link to his video and he can kind of show you the whole ins and outs of what he designed. But definitely those are available and they're worth looking at, and also very reasonably priced as well. Now let's go ahead and set up. We're actually going to do this mod on camera. I'm going to speed it up, but I want to show you why this makes the tool ideal for me. For this mod, I use pretty inexpensive tools for the most part. I mean, you can find something that will work for you, but I do recommend that you have decent bits. First of all, my WeHa bits I found to be pretty much the highest quality. You're going to need 2 T8s in order to do this adjustment, and I do recommend getting something in this design first, because you're going to need something to hold onto it while you are actually rotating it. So I have found that with this having the hole right here, this is made by Klein, that this has worked perfectly. This has been the perfect tool. So whatever you're using for the other thing, you're just going to need another T8. So we're going to have those. You're going to need some tweezers, and I do recommend having some kind of separator, some kind of tray or something to hold all the parts. Do what you want, but this is just one way I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop talking at this point. I might do a little bit of voiceover commentary, and then we'll show you what it looks like at the end.
Now, in reality, if I were to do this and I wasn't on camera, I probably would be able to do it a little bit faster because I wouldn't be trying to get my hands out of the way so you can actually see what I'm doing. This actually was way easier than I thought because the pivot comes in from the blade side and I didn't have to take the whole thing apart in order to get it installed. So worked really well, and honestly, I highly recommend this if you're willing to void that warranty on a $230 tool.
So thankfully that was actually easier than I expected because the pivot is actually on this side, as it should be, because there's the blade, and the screw was on the saw side. Now this actually goes very, very smoothly, and I really, really like this addition. Nice and secure on everything. Everything locks up properly. Blade is really nice and solid in there. I got that adjustment really nice. Actually, if anything, it's smoother now. And check this out. So check this out. We have the ability to use 4mm bits now in the Leatherman. Much, much more available than the Leatherman bit system. And I can put in either this Phillips driver, which is extra long. This one came with it, and it's really narrow, so you can actually like set this in and it will actually hold in there. Check that out. So it actually does work. And it also works with this double-sided bit. So both of those work. And I'm actually going to leave the double-sided bit in there. But yeah, we have the ability to see if it pops out. It does a little bit. That's kind of normal. That's kind of like par for the course when it comes to Leatherman free series tools. But yeah, I'm happy now because now I have a full-sized bit driver and I'm going to be good to go. I don't have to worry about the Leatherman bit system anymore, but I do want to check if it works with Leatherman bits, and I didn't try this. Let me try it with the most awkward one, which is the T6, T8, just out of curiosity. And it does actually function. So this will actually function with the Leatherman bits as well because it's deep enough. So there you go. That's everything. Now, will it function with normal bits? Oh yeah, just goes in a little further. It actually feels really solid with that. So there you go. That is my compromised Leatherman Arc. This no longer has a warranty. At this point, I will not be sending this back at any point to Leatherman, even if I could reassemble, which I can. I'm not going to. For me, it matters more that I have the right tool set. That's just me. Okay, and I'm willing to spend the money and cost myself a warranty that is really, really good in order to get what I'm looking for. There you go. That's my ideal tool set for the Leatherman Arc. Now I have the Magna Cut blade. I have a full 1/4" bit driver. I have all the tools and actually really like the ones that come with this otherwise. Yeah, this will be my EDC for the foreseeable future. I'm really, really pleased with the way this is set up. What do you guys think? Should Leatherman have done this in the first place? I mean, you could see right here, it is possible. It even has the 4mm driver in the back. Why not, right? Like they could have, but they're obsessed with these smaller bits, these proprietary ones. Where is there it is. Just the ability to use this with two different types of, actually 3 different types of bits with the Leatherman included. I mean, just, come on. This was a no-brainer. Except then they would miss out on the bit kit costs. But I gotta wonder, how big of a deal is this? What do you guys think? Now that we realize that the T6, T8 is what's missing, and even if you buy the other half, you're still gonna be missing that bit. What do you think? Would you still buy the Arc? Let me know down in the comments. As always, guys, Thank you so much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.